Inside Out Beauty. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I clean my makeup brushes and my beauty blender. So if you guys are interested, just keep on watching. Alright, so let's start with cleaning my brushes. So what I generally use is a kitchen plate, and I pour in some good old dishwasher detergent. This has antibacterial properties and will deeply clean all the dirt that's in between the bristles of my brushes. And then I'm going to add olive oil. Think of these two elements like shampooing and conditioning. So the detergent is cleaning the bristles and the olive oil is conditioning the bristles and giving them back all the moisture that the detergent takes away. And here you see me grabbing my 203 blending concealer brush from the Live Beautifully collection. This is a very expensive brush, the whole collection is. So we really want to take really good care of it. I don't want to ruin my brushes. And I think this mixture is actually very gentle. So what I do is what you're seeing, basically swirling and mixing all the two products, the olive oil and the detergent together, as I slightly press over the plate with the brush, and all those bristles are going to get really soaked into the mixture of those two products. I'm going to leave it aside, and then you're going to see me do that again with the next brush, just really moving in circular motions and getting all those bristles really soaked into the mixture of these two products. And leaving them on the side is going to give it some time for the products to also act and start loosening up all that dirt and gunk that's stuck in those bristles. As a general rule, I clean my face brushes, so the powder brush and the blush brushes and the contouring brushes, a little bit more often than I do with eye brushes. So let's say that I clean my face brushes 3 times a week, maybe 4 times a week, and I do twice a week for my eye brushes. And ideally, of course, you should be doing this every single time you use them. That would be ideal, but I'm just being honest, I just don't have the time. So what I do is, for one, have an extra set of brushes so that I don't have to use the same brush over and over and over again and get it all contaminated and get my skin contaminated. So the reason that you can get away with cleaning your eye brushes a little less is if you're only using powder products. But if you're going with wet or cream eyeshadows, then for sure you need to clean that every single time before or after you're using it. The same for foundation brushes. Foundation brushes should be cleaned every single time you use them, because that liquid formulation of foundations, unless of course you're using a powder foundation, but oftentimes if you're using liquid foundations or cream foundations and a foundation brush, which I don't use, but if you're doing that, then all that moist in the formulation of your foundation just makes it easier for bacteria to grow there. So it's very, very important to really clean that up every single time. And if you are like me and just don't have the time to do so, then it could be a good idea to have an extra brush, maybe 2 or 3 brushes, so that you make sure that you don't use the same brush twice. And then every other day you schedule some time to really clean those brushes, and you're all set for the next 3 days, if that makes sense. So for step 2, I'm just gonna need some ordinary kitchen towels, just a couple of them. I pile them up, and what I'm gonna do next is use a swirling motion to remove that mixture of detergent, olive oil, and makeup that's on those bristles. What I like about this process is that I'm using stuff that I already have at home, and I do save a lot of money. And by using the napkin, it's all white and it's also kind of absorbent. I am making sure that all the makeup is coming out, because I do that, as you can see, I just keep doing this with every single brush until I see that there's no makeup being transferred to the kitchen towel. And here, to go kind of faster, I'm grabbing 3 eye brushes all at once. So here's how the brushes look after step 2. In case you guys are wondering, we still have 2 more steps to go to finish cleaning these brushes. And the whole process takes about 30 minutes on average. So step 3 is to go over to the kitchen sink. The reason why I use the kitchen sink and not the bathroom sink is that my bathroom sink is all white. Makeup doesn't cling to the metal surface as easily as it does to my white bathroom sink. So basically what I'm doing is rinsing off any residues containing makeup plus olive oil plus the detergent. As soon as I don't see any more foam coming out of it, I know that it's well rinsed. And this is important because this is going to be in contact with your face. You don't want bacteria, but you also don't want any detergent or anything that's very harsh on top of your skin either. So you have to make sure that all that detergent is coming off. Once all the rinsing is completed, I just squeeze those bristles together to remove any excess water. The final step of my brush cleaning process is the air drying step. This is what I do. I use these protective cups that they actually come with the IT Cosmetics Live Beautifully brushes, and I don't close the lid that that protective cup has. Instead, I leave them open, and I just repeat the process with each of the brushes. Now, these protective cups come with the IT Cosmetics Live Beautifully brushes, but don't worry if you don't have these particular brushes because there's plenty of alternatives. You can definitely purchase something similar from sites such as the Brush Guard. What these protective cups do is they let the bristles breathe, and this is super important so that mold doesn't grow in there. But they also keep them in the correct shape so that when they're dry, they look brand new. The positioning of the brushes as they dry is also really important. I'm going to show you how I position mine, and I actually really recommend that you guys try this. So this is the candy storage that I use to display my brushes. It is made of glass, and I actually use these as well to keep the brushes upside down while they're drying. And the reason that this is so important is that any remaining water will just drip into the glass. You can definitely use any glass that you have at home. What I use is these candy storage that I use to display the brushes in my vanity. But like I said, any glass container will do as long as it is big enough to hold all your brushes. Any little drops of water will just come down to the glass container. And this is especially important because you don't want that humidity to get into the brush glue and either detach bristles or detach the handle of your brush. Now that's it for how I clean my brushes. Let's move on to how I clean my beauty blenders. So I clean my beauty blender before or after every single time I use it, and for this I use my face wash, my Advanced Calm AD. Now this may sound like a waste because this is not a cheap product, but you have to think that a beauty blender is a sponge after all. It's kind of very special sponge, and it helps you have a very beautiful finish on your foundation, but it still has all that super absorbing qualities. So whatever you wash it with, there is a chance that some residue, even if you rinse it super well, may touch your skin at some point. So I really want to use something that I would put on my skin. I hope that makes sense to you guys, because that's kind of my train of thought. I actually think it's worth it for my skin's health, especially if you have very sensitive skin like I do. So I basically put a couple pumps of the cleanser on top of my beauty blender, especially on the areas that I see that the beauty blender is particularly stained. And then I just put it below the water and squeeze it and really try to remove all those stains. This is not a quick process, guys. It takes time, it takes a little bit of patience. It is definitely quicker than cleaning my makeup brushes, and just or maybe even more important because, like we said, this is in contact with your foundation, in my case with liquid foundation, and that gets so easily contaminated. And we are done. This is my clean beauty blender. You should know that beauty blender loses its pink dye as you wash it. That is not a makeup stain, that's just lack of pigmentation over there. But besides that, it looks as good as new. Now let's talk about how you air dry it. You just put it in its little bed, the little plastic container that you got when you purchased it. I think a lot of people make the mistake of throwing the container away. You need it to air dry and display your beauty blender. It's the perfect way to do so. And the most important thing is that you don't put it inside the container, and for sure do not put the lid on. If you don't want mold growing in your beauty blender, just leave the container open and use it as a little bed to display it. Alright, so here are my super clean brushes. I already turned them around because they're no longer wet. There was a little bit of water down here which I already dried out. And that's exactly what you don't want to get inside the handles and kind of loosen the glue and lose your bristles or detach the handle from the brush. So that's why I like this technique to clean my brushes so much. And my beauty blender, you already saw how clean it was, but I already used it and it's all dirty all over again. I just wanted to show you just how nice and soft all the bristles are, as soft and in shape as when I just purchased them. Hopefully this cleaning method works for you guys as well. That's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this how I clean my brushes and beauty blender video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for new videos Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you all again tomorrow. Bye!